sound speeds. And if you're using a boom pole either by hand or by stand, then you're going to want to pay close attention to this video because I'm going to be reviewing and probably introducing you to two body-saving products released by a small company in Wales. Curious? Well, full disclosure. Fleetwood Film did send me both of these products in exchange for a fair review. I get to keep them following the review, but I'm not going to allow that to affect my opinion, so you can expect this to be a fair and honest review. As a boom operator, I feel really bad for poor Hugo over there. He's in about a worst case scenario. He's extremely long extended with the pole, about 23 feet, and you have an actor that's over here just blabbing away. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do for the shot, right? But is there a way for Hugo to not kill himself when he's in this circumstance? Well, yes, there is. The boom swinger is an aid for holding the boom pole. Let's face it, takes are getting longer and longer. Not only is that more tiring, but it's also potentially damaging to your body, maybe causing injury that's going to end your career as a boom operator early. And who wants to have a long-lasting health issue in your mid-30s? There are products on the market today that were either repurposed from other industries or made specifically for us boom operators to help us hold the weight over our heads. From $4,000 vests to $1,800 contraptions that help turn us into preambulator booms, regardless, they all have one thing in common. Not only are they pricey, but they take a little while to get into, and there's not really a low-profile option available, like if you need to snug a wall. Until now. This simple device, the boom swinger, mounts to another boom pole with the same 3/8/16 threads you're used to dealing with. Or if you want, you can get a monopod specifically for holding this, and then adapt over the 1/4 threads to it. Regardless, it's small. Space limitations are no longer an issue because it's extremely versatile to use. But what does it do? So here we are, we actually have a plane. Do you mind holding it for a second?
Sure thing, Alan.
You all right over there?
I'm doing just fine.
The reason he's okay is because he has the boom swinger up right now. It's holding the pole over his head, taking all the weight from his front hand. He can hold that thing pretty much all day. You want to?
I wouldn't mind.
He's a boom op. Made of metal and rubber, it's small and quiet, and very easy to make adjustments on the fly. Now, I wouldn't recommend using it for something like a walk and talk or even where a talent walks in and maybe moves more than a few feet. But there are many times that actors just stand and talk and talk and talk, reset back to one, and it drives you absolutely crazy, and it's extremely draining on a boom op. And that's where this thing shines. The boom swinger allows you to cue the microphone back and forth between actors, even when extended a long distance, and you could rock forward and backward on the supporting pole to fine-tune your positioning. You have the option of holding your arms over your head like you would if the supporting pole wasn't even there, or you can grab the supporting pole for better control. But personally, I like to hold on to the boom swinger itself with this kind of claw-looking grip. I feel much better about resting my hand there, knowing that if someone slams into me while running past not paying attention, they're not going to knock the pole out of my hand. Plus, with this grip, you can even pick up the whole thing and move it with ease if you need to. Any boom operator will tell you that those are both very real concerns on set. Whichever way you choose, the rubber on the boom swinger is going to hold the pole really well, especially with the weight of a long boom on it. As for how to get the boom on top of the boom swinger, well, I'm going to show you a couple of techniques for that. But first, I strongly suggest you practicing this a few times before you go on set and have to do it when the pressure is on. Start by setting the height of your supporting pole, keeping in mind that it's much more difficult to adjust later, and I'd recommend extending the thickest segment instead of the thinnest. Lean the supporting pole against your front shoulder and then raise your boom pole up and put it on top of the boom swinger. Do the exact reverse when taking it down. The second method is to hold your boom between your index and middle fingers and slide at the supporting pole with your other 3 fingers until you reach the top. Twist your wrist over and drop the boom pole on top of the boom swinger and you're good to go. And again, do the exact opposite when taking it back down. This method gives you much better control over both the boom pole and the supporting pole, and in my opinion, I prefer it. I found that it's much easier and better to put the boom on top of the boom swinger before you extend it. Space can be very limited on set, and doing that, you're focused on the pole the whole time, versus extending the pole first and then trying to find your way on top of the boom swinger, potentially hitting a light, the ceiling, the camera, or something else, and you don't want to go there. Ever since I started using the boom swinger, I found myself to be much happier during these longer takes on set. I can still make all the adjustments I need to, but as with anything, it does take a little bit of time to get used to. But I found myself not even taking the boom down between takes because my hands are at rest the whole time with the pole up. I really don't have any negatives about the boom swinger. I mean, it's very simple and straightforward. I really like it, and provided that you're not trying to use it on actors that are walking around, you're probably going to love it, especially if you practice with it a bit first. And if you're a bag mixer, you're going to love the fact that you can actually make an adjustment in your bag while holding the pole up with one hand and not having to sit it on the top of your head. Notice how my hand naturally goes to that claw grip. It feels very natural, and you can even pick up the boom and move it if you really need to. There's no design flaws or anything imperative that they need to fix in my opinion, but regardless, I've still given some feedback to Fleetwood Film, and we'll see if they do anything with that in time towards a version 2 of the product or something like that. But in the meantime, I'm still going to be using this on set. Now here's some truth for you. After using the boom swinger on set one day, I bought 15 of them from Fleetwood Film and had them send them to me on this side of the Atlantic Ocean because they don't have any representation in America as of yet, but I'm looking to change that. Now, the reason I thought this was cool is because I teach a lot of classes in the real world and I wanted to make them available to students in my classes. They sell for about 30 pounds in the UK, and at the time of this video, the conversion rate equates to about $37.93, and that's before you even factor in international shipping. Now that this video is live and online, I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of professional sound vendors in the United States and trying to convince them to stock the boom swinger on their shelves. I think it's a very valuable product for a boom operator to have, especially because it's so inexpensive and very easy to use. Now, if you don't live in the United States and you would like to see this product stocked in your shelves at your local sound shops, send them to this video and then tell them the website boom-buddy.com and they can order some for themselves. Personally, I find the boom swinger to be an investment for any boom operator. It's very inexpensive and it takes a lot of strain off your body, especially during these long stand-up interviews or scenes. The second thing I'm going to show you is their namesake product, the Boom Buddy. Now, if you do a lot of sit-down interviews, you're probably used to seeing things that are very similar, but I'm going to show you how the Boom Buddy is different. Unlike other products that require you to use a gobo head to mount your boom pole to a C-stand, the Boom Buddy doesn't. It fits directly on top of the C-stand itself, no gobo head required. This offers advantages because if you need to make an angle adjustment to the boom pole mounted up, you can do so directly from the Boom Buddy without having to touch the gobo head. Making an adjustment from the Boom Buddy itself is quicker, easier, and a lot more precise. You can also mount the Boom Buddy to other things, or even a gobo arm if you need extra length or want to mount it upside down. And mounting it upside down is indeed an option you have. The adjustment handle on the front feels great and allows you to adjust this in practically any angle up to almost 180 degrees. So you can even mount it sideways and then lock it in position and put the handle wherever you want to. The handle feels great. It doesn't feel like it's going to break unless you really, really wanted to. And then, anything will break if you're really determined. Almost everything on the Boom Buddy is made of either hardened plastic or metal, with exception of this soft plastic, which is used to cradle the boom pole without damaging it. On the bottom of the Boom Buddy, there are multiple holes for you to choose from to determine how you want to mount the Boom Buddy and what to. And notice that because the screw goes right up in the middle of all of them, you can basically pick and choose how you want it to mount and it will hold on to it. Another difference between the Boom Buddy and other devices on the market, especially the more inexpensive models that are designed to hold fish poles, you can tell because it's threaded on the bottom, is that they have weakened welded or solder points right there and maybe right there. But because it's covered in rubber, you don't notice it. You put a boom pole on it, and in the middle of an interview, it snaps, dropping your boom and your microphone, potentially destroying them and maybe hitting somebody. Believe it or not, I've known that to happen. This is where the Boom Buddy is a bit different. First of all, it holds quite a bit of weight on the end, like this extra long gobo arm and a long shotgun microphone inside of a Zeppelin. And if overloaded, it doesn't snap, it bends. Now, this may not sound appealing to you, but I'd much prefer it to bend in my hand while I'm setting it up than have it snap off when it's over top of talent. Now, if you're wondering, I did overload it here in this video. You can even tell because the metal gobo arm is bending, but the Boom Buddy still held it just fine. But eventually it did bend, but to my surprise, I was able to bend it back with my hands, but I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it is true. Another thing I like about the Boom Buddy is that it comes with its own carrying case that doubles as a counterweight bag. Just add something heavy to the bag, slip it over the end of your boom pole or gobo arm in this case, and then secure the Velcro and it's not going anywhere. Now, I've used many similar products on the market, but I prefer the Boom Buddy, and here's why. I don't have to touch a gobo head. Personally, being able to make adjustments directly from the Boom Buddy itself is invaluable. The multiple mounting options is also really cool. It's very intuitive, it's light, it's strong, and the fact that it does not require a gobo head that could be taken away from a grip at any point in time, especially on a smaller budget show where they're like, sorry dude, you can have the stand, but I need the gobo head to set a flag. You don't have to worry about that. The only thing I would say could maybe use some improvement is the strength of the metal. Now remember, I did overload it with a lot of weight before it bent, but the fact that I could bend it back by hand, I don't really know what kind of voodoo that is that it bent back so easily, but it resisted a lot of weight on it. But I mean, I wish it wouldn't bend at all. At the time of this video, the Boom Buddy sells for £53, which is $65.41 in American dollars. Now, keep in mind that if your local sound shop doesn't sell the Boom Swinger, you're already going to be telling them to stock that up, so you might as well tell them to stock up the Boom Buddy as well. So there you go, 2 big thumbs up to both the Boom Swinger and the Boom Buddy here at SoundSpeeds. Now, keep in mind if your local professional sound shop does not sell either or both of these products, tell them to go to boom-buddy.com and get some to stock up on, because these things are definitely going to be something other boom operators and E&G sound mixers need to know about. Thank you for tuning into this episode of SoundSpeeds. Be sure to tune in the future for more innovative products that might not be available in your country and sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.